Welcome to another edition of the Recruiting Scoop. I'm Jarret Johnson, and this is going to be kind of a different Recruiting Scoop in this edition, in that I really felt like after some interactions in public, on social media, on Inside the Red Raiders, on our board, that perhaps some things about the way Texas Tech football is recruiting right now is not effectively being communicated by me, which is one of my main functions, right? And what I do in running and working for 24/7 Sports and, running, Inside the Red Raiders, the message board. And I think part of that is, no excuses, but part of it was that I missed one of the biggest recruiting months in the history of football recruiting. In June, I was out due to family reasons, and June was when things opened up. They had all those visits. It was a critical month for official visits from recruits after 15 months of a dead period due to the COVID era. So, I mean, that was really a bad combination. Me missing that time. It was out of my hands, but that's what happened. So I have like a little bit of a pause here, kind of, in the middle of fall camp before the season. And there was, like I said, a couple of conversations I had where I was just like, these people are so far off in the way I see it, at least, that I thought I would try, at least in this space, in this video, and I'll try in other spaces, on the radio, on the board as well. But this is my first real attempt to try and explain since June how, in my opinion, what a really good job Tech is doing. Now, let's most of this is going to be facts, or at least opinions others than mine. I have one point I want to make that's my opinion, and believe it or not, it's my opinion. Before I get to that, let's point out, look, I think where a lot of people are getting hung up is the fact that, look, according to 24/7 Sports rankings, Texas Tech is ranked 76 overall in Division I football and 9th in the Big 12 in terms of high school recruiting rankings for the 2022 class. Hey, I admit that's not good, right? Now, I just want to say, and this is where my opinion really comes in here, I'll give you some other people's opinions that don't have a dog in the fight in the Big 12 or Texas Tech, who agree with what I'm about to say. Recruiting has changed, okay? Just like so many other things with college sports, and certainly college football has changed and continues to evolve, and really at a breakneck pace. I mean, things are really changing across the college football landscape, at just an incredible rate, whether it be obviously conference realignment, which is the main topic people want to discuss right now, but also the transfer portal, the name, image, likeness, things that are going on for players. I mean, you can just go down the list. There are so many changes going on in the sport. It's going to look like a very different sport, and recruiting looks very different. And one of those reasons is the transfer portal. And that's where Tech is really making a killing, but not just in the transfer portal. We're going to get to that here in a minute. They're also, in my opinion, though the rankings aren't there, the way Tech is going about assembling and retooling this roster, they're doing a good job, not in volume, but certainly in the type or the caliber of recruit they're getting. And they're doing it by basically off their personality and selling, in my opinion, what I think is the best thing to sell about Texas Tech and Lubbock, and it is the feel, the college town atmosphere, the feel you get on campus at Texas Tech. And if you went to Texas Tech, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because I'm a Dallasite that chose Texas Tech as a student for those very reasons. So, to give you an example, during that visitor weekend, or that big visitor month where it was open, where Tech hosted, I talked to one of their main people in terms of recruiting on the staff, and he just said it was just the craziest time ever in terms of recruiting that June, because they had so many official visits and just coordinating that and the logistics of it, but doing a good job while everyone else in the country was doing the same was just crazy. And one of the players they made a huge impact on, and who ended up committing because of that visit, was Bryson Donnell, a 5'11", 205-pound 3-star running back from Tyler Legacy. It used to be Tyler Lee, but it's now called Tyler Legacy. Now, this guy, look, he's rated as a number 53 overall player in Texas, which is really good for Texas Tech to get a running back of that caliber, all right? He had offers over Or he chose Texas Tech over offers from the likes of Arkansas, Colorado, Houston, and Purdue. And this is what he said about why he chose Texas Tech. I talked to him just within the last 24 hours about this. And this was his fresh quote on why he chose Texas Tech. He says, one of the main reasons I chose Tech was because when I went on my visit, it felt like home. I found myself creating bonds and memories with some of the coaches, players, and even other students that went here. The moment I left from my visit, I knew that would most definitely be somewhere that I could see myself for the next chapter in my life. So, that's what you want to hear, right? Obviously, that's it. I mean, the visit did what it was supposed to do. It made a huge impact on him. It was a great fit for him, and they're getting a really good running back in Bryson Donnell. I mean, like I said, a lot of competition for his services. I guarantee you people are still trying to recruit him, but that's, mission accomplished to land a guy like that. He also told me running back coach DeAndre Smith kind of was like, his dogged recruiting in terms of all the communication, what he had to say to him, the way he actually cared about him as a person also went a long way towards him committing. So let me give you another recruit who kind of echoes this sentiment, who I also talked to within the last 24 hours just about this. Like, hey, why, what happened on your visit and why did you choose Texas Tech? This is 6'7", 280-pound offensive lineman Caden Weatherby out of Colorado, who, by the way, chose Tech over offers from Arizona State, Colorado, Kansas State, Michigan, and Michigan State. Those are some of the schools he chose the Red Raiders over. He says, once I got to campus and spent some time with the team, I knew that was where I wanted to go. The atmosphere they create down there is unmatched. And after the first day down there, I knew I wanted to commit. And then he also said, Coach Steve Farmer, the offensive line coach, he said it was, a flood of communication, as much as that's allowed. Just constant communication for months with him made a big impact on him. And I really liked what Coach Farmer had to say in terms of their plans for Caden in the future. So he's a guy who's still growing, like I said, 6'7", 280. So, a really nice pickup there. And so those are successes. Like you hear people say, oh, why is Tech terrible in recruiting? And that's not the way I see it. Now, so that's high school recruiting. People are going to counter, hey, look at the rankings, though. They don't have enough of them. Well, okay, hold on, back up. If you want to say, where is Tech really competing with the big boys, it's in the transfer portal. And don't take my word for it, all right? According to an article by 24/7 Sports article by Blair Angulo back in May, entitled "The Schools Who Really Cleaned Up in the 2001 Transfer Portal," Texas Tech was one of 10 programs mentioned, along with the likes of Alabama, Florida, Florida State, Miami, Penn State, USC, and Oklahoma. I mean, those were the schools that were mentioned along with Texas Tech. Those are the type, all right? So who's the outlier here, out of all those schools mentioned in terms of Power 5 programs? So that gives you an idea of what a great job Texas Tech is doing adding to their roster in the transfer portal. And you have to keep in mind, those of you who don't know out there, that the transfer portal is so different now because these players can transfer without having to sit out for a season. It's not just grad transfers, or it's not just guys that are also Rams or whatever, because I see that sometimes, and that's not the case. You're getting really good players like Tyler Shuck, who led Oregon to a Pac-12 title and was the most efficient quarterback in the Pac-12 last year in his first year as a starter, who has 3 years of eligibility remaining. Just saying. Who has, by the way, NFL scouts. Him and Eric Ezekama, all Big 12 receiver, are the main reasons why you have scouts from Miami, the New York Jets, the Dallas Cowboys at training camp right now. It's real talent. Marquise Waters is another guy, 3-year starter at Duke, one of the top defensive backs in the ACC, is now at Texas Tech. Those are two guys in the top, 60 in terms of overall players in the transfer portal this past cycle. So they're adding real talent to the roster. They're adding guys who have been at Power 5, who've been developing at Power 5 programs, who have multiple seasons of eligibility remaining to augment some really high targets that they're getting from the high school ranks. I mean, guys like Baron Morton, he's one of the highest rated guys in the modern recruiting era that Texas Tech has landed. So you just keep going down the list. I mean, Cameron Valdez, who just ripped off a long run in Tech's first scrimmage, is a running back of the caliber, along with Bryson Donnell in the 2022 class, that Texas Tech normally doesn't get. It's just a fact, Jack. So this staff is recruiting at a much higher rate than what we've seen in a while, in a long time. And those are big reasons why. The high-end targets, really good job in terms of the visitor weekends, big-time visitor month in June. Now, I will tell you this also, and I hesitate to say this, but it's good info for y'all. It's not really for me, it's for y'all. On Father's Day, I wasn't where I was on leave because of a family deal, but bottom line is Texas Tech Athletics, invited myself and my 9-year-old son to come out to the Jones and have a game of catch, which was very nice. I had no idea what else is going on campus in terms of Tech football. This was camp season, middle of camp season. I talked to this official. Him and I were saying, I didn't think anybody would be on campus, but all these recruits were walking up to the Sports Performance Center, and lo and behold, Sunday, Father's Day, Coach Wells was out there. All the position coaches, the coordinators were out there, and they had triple-figure recruits on a Sunday on Father's Day there. All right, and talking to Coach Wells, I mean, they had a record turnout for camp season. Part of it was coming off COVID. Guys were ready to get out, but Tech still got people on campus, recruits on campus that are going to help for not just the 2022 class, but really the 2023 and 24 classes. So they're not just looking for this season. They are working towards their future. They are having success. And I think for me, and this is where my real opinion comes in, Marion Horn, 4-star recruit, commit out of Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, okay, 4-star athlete, rated as, I believe, the number 5 athlete in the country, number 9 athlete in the country, number 4 overall player in the state of Oklahoma. And he has offers from practically everybody in the Big 12, including Texas, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State. Now, look, we all know if there's a 4-star guy offered by Oklahoma or Oklahoma State, they're staying in the Okie State. I mean, it's just like 99.9% of the time, that's just really what's going to happen. Well, Marion Horn is committed to Texas Tech over those offers. I think, and there's reasons for it. 1, good visit. 2, again, dogged recruitment, but that's probably the same for a lot of schools. 3, they've been flexible. They're going to allow him, he's not just going to play DB, I think they're going to allow him to play some offense as well. And the way Coach Sonny Cumbie, the offense coordinator, has been using versatile players, it'll be interesting. It would be fun, hypothetically down the road, to see Marion Horn in this offense. So these are the reasons why I believe, and others, not just my opinion, that Texas Tech is actually doing I'm not saying like an amazing job, but a pretty good job recruiting when you combine all the factors. The transfer portal, they're landing high target recruits, guys they normally don't get. I want to communicate to Texas Tech fans out there, the roster, we see it. I'm in fall camp almost every day. It's so much better than it was just 2-3 years ago. And it looks like it's building towards the future. Now, they got to win. I understand that. They got to win this year. But things are improving. I've always been honest when I've said, look, things aren't improving, things are getting worse, something needs to happen. That's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the opposite. I'm seeing this program being improved through recruiting. Not just the portal, but the whole recruiting process. So that's my soapbox. I'll get off it now, but I really wanted to share that because I feel like it needed to be done. I didn't get the opportunity to really share as much as I want to in June, like I said, for personal reasons. But I'm jumping into fall camp and getting ready for the season. I didn't want to not communicate that to y'all. I really want you to understand that things are looking up on the recruiting trail, and it's because of this coaching staff. So with that, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.